Okay, loves. Thank you. Annika is gonna introduce Jeremy and the performance. I'm gonna give y'all a heads up that like this performance is an invitation to also be participatory, and also a heads up that it's to follow the idea of it being somatic, that it'll be a performance that also invites us to kind of engage in our bodies in some new ways. So Annika, do you want to go ahead and introduce?
Hi, it's me again. Okay, energy levels went up. I had a sip of a protein shake. Uh, the body is traveling to places. I want to say that I am a huge, huge admirer of all things Jeremy. His artistic acumen, your style, your intellect, your wit, all of it. Jeremy, I'm so honored to have you here. I first had the encounter with Jeremy's work last spring at the Triple Canopy Symposium, where he performed the titled Unmarked Car Part 1. And I was freaking out. I have not experienced that kind of level of unbridled joy, epileptic seizures. It was quite memorable. It was probably one of the most memorable performances I'd ever been a part of, which is why I brought Jeremy and invited him to come here to San Francisco. Toussaint Baptiste has performed at various venues, both in the United States and internationally. Today, he will be performing his work titled, Y'all Don't Wanna Hear Me, You Just Wanna Dance. So, without further ado, let's welcome Jeremy Toussaint Baptiste.
Just gonna take a minute. I also don't feel very great about being on a stage with this because I don't really know that it's spectacle as opposed to informative and instructional. Is it warm? Am I just hot because nerves, or yeah, it's warm. All right, so yeah. Anybody ever been to like a protest? Say between 2001 and now-ish? Cool. If you have been to one, maybe you have seen or perhaps heard the device or the implication of the device, or at least read about this device that I'm holding in front of you, which is called an LRAD. LRAD stands for Long Range Acoustic Device. If I was talking shit to people on the street outside, I would call it a sound cannon, which implies that it's a weapon, and it full well is a weapon. The thing that I am standing or sitting behind right now let me save my voice. I don't like to yell. The thing that I'm sitting behind right now can, I think, play up to 160 decibels on an 8-hour battery. It only takes 140 decibels to cause lasting, permanent hearing damage. So that's the weaponized thing about it, right? But you'll notice that my voice is not at 140 decibels, and my fingers are gradually turning a volume knob. So this device that shows up at protests, that gets turned to people and weaponized against them, that's a decision, right? To turn the thing all the way up to 11, or to dial it back so that I can communicate, so that we can communicate. The thing is also incredibly directional. So you'll notice the sound gets more intense as it points to your body. Again, canon. The direction matters as much as the thing that's being
wonderful document which has been scrubbed from the internet over the last 2 years. It is a piece of legal ace from the U.S. From the U.S. Army, the Army lawyer. This is from 2010 May, and the writer Joe Schrantz, JAGC USMC Marines, makes a wonderful argument for this thing being a tool of information dispersal and not necessarily a weapon, which means police, law enforcement officials, military or not, are able to show up with this device and use it on non-violent, non-confrontational populations in incredibly weaponized ways. Again, but there's the potential to use it in other ways, and that's what excites me. But you kind of have to be a member of a state agency to get a hold of one of these things. I could go to a gun store and buy an AR-15 with my out-of-state ID right now. I could not procure one of these. I also don't have the money to procure one of these. They retail for about $12,000 US. This device, 12,000 of your dollars, right here, right? And this is the personal pan pizza model. This isn't the one that gets mounted on the car or on the helicopter as they surveil communities engaging in non-violent First Amendment protected speech and behavior. Right, so how did I get it? I don't have a lot of money. I come from poverty. I've been supporting my mom up until last year. That's wonderful. What's also wonderful is I get to go to artist residencies where they have these things called materials budgets. And sometimes they're unrestricted and they say, Jeremy, do what you want. And I don't really believe in art, right? I should tell you this. This is a front. And nothing I'm saying is a lie. I'm using the absolute truth to hide something else that we can't talk about in this room unless you want to pay me a lot of money and become a co-conspirator on the larger project. And I mean that. If you want to talk about it, fuck with me after this. So I take these arts materials budgets and I find these things on eBay, which until up to now is the only place where I can find these things on the secondary market. And they're still incredibly expensive. What was a $12,000 device new was still $4,000 after I haggled the seller down from five-ish. And so I used my entire materials budget from a residency and have used materials budgets from several residencies to purchase these devices. Not necessarily with the intention to make art, but looking at the limited number of these things on the secondary market and deciding to take them out of circulation altogether. This piece and several other LRADs I own make it into sculpture works, and they're not for sale. Thinking about who typically has the resources to purchase very expensive weaponry, who has the fetish towards spending a lot of money on things which can hurt people. It felt like an important political project and social project to take the toys out of the hands of the goofballs. So that's what I've been doing for the last 3 years. This want to do this started in 2012 during Occupy. It took 11 years to find the co-conspirators who would say, take the money and run with it and do something different. And I'm still looking for money to get more of these things because there are a very limited number on the market and I'm trying to get them out there. But I still have to kind of pretend it's art because that's what my job is and that's what the rub and the ruse is. And so to be an effective front, I need to do something with this thing. And I can't magically will them out of existence. There's no chance of legislation being passed that takes these things out of production or use. So I want to get them and I want to show ways that this thing that's directional. And I can talk to the earth with it. And misuse it in a really wonderful way. It still exists. I can't will it out of existence, but I can misuse it or disuse it. And let it talk to the sky. I can't let it talk to me because then it'll feed back. But that's kind of a boring way of misusing or disusing this thing that y'all paid for. I gotta remind y'all, you paid for this. Like, this thing right here. And I guess it doesn't hurt that with social dance. And the form that I grew up with was line dance. Also known as square dancing, maybe a little bit. We're not going to square dance today, but we are going to do the cha-cha slide. So I know this is like, there are a lot of professors in the room and there are a lot of artists in the room. And like, oh wow, the two groups of people who are maybe least inclined to move. Right? Like I did this performance in Mexico City last year, a few hours before I got mugged or robbed by the cops on the street for no reason. Like they just pulled up and ran my pockets. But the art folks, they wouldn't dance with me. So I had to do something and move through the space and they still didn't dance. Don't be like that. Or if you are, then it's about as much about you as it is about what you think I'm doing. We're gonna do the cha-cha slide, and then I'm gonna play a composition out into the street. That is very ad hoc, but it feels weird to show up in a neighborhood as Charge, in a city as Charge, and not try and offer something beautiful to things and people and folks outside of this room. And with y'all's permission, I just want to finish with that. But we're gonna cha-cha. Oh, also, right, like this thing has a knob. There's also this miserable tone that the cops play through it called the chirp tone. This is a glorified MP3 player. It only plays MP3s, which means we could also do karaoke with it. Just saying. It's a glorified MP3 player, but it comes preloaded with a chirp tone that you can see this little red button on the side that I've been very careful to exercise, very like careful. I don't want to press the button because it goes beyond volume and it just like sends the thing out. So again, the way that these things show up as weapons at First Amendment protected events is a decision to hurt, is a decision to harm, and is also a decision to attempt to negatively disperse populations. So with that, I want to attempt to positively mobilize us in 4 directions, maybe more. You can join, you can watch, you can do whatever you want.
We're gonna get funky, funky. Funky, funky. Everybody clap your hands. Clap, clap, clap your hands. Clap, 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 clap your hands. Right now, we're gonna do the baby step.
Wait. No, we cannot, there's no good performance art without like a costume change, right? I've completely sweat through my shirt, so I'm just gonna be fair and a mess with y'all for a minute, and also be very topical. Right, okay, now we're doing performance. Whoop, whoop.
We're gonna get funky, funky. Funky, funky. Everybody clap your hands. Clap, 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 clap your hands. Clap, 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 clap your hands. Right now, we're gonna do the baby step. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. One hop this time. Right foot, let's stop. Left foot, let's stop. Cha-cha, real smooth. it out. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. One hop this time. Right foot, let's go. Left foot, let's go. Cha-cha now, y'all. Now it's time to get funky. To the right now. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. One hop this time. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. Two hops this time. Two hops this time. Right foot, two stumps. Left foot, two stumps. Hands on your knees. Hands on your knees. Oh, yeah. Come on. Cha-cha now, y'all. Turn it out. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. Five hops this time. Right foot, let's go. Left foot, let's go. Right foot again. Left foot again. Right foot, let's go. Left foot, let's go. Freeze! Everybody clap your hands. Can you go down low? All the way to the floor? How low can you go? Can you bring it to the top? Like you never stop? Can you bring it to the top? One hop. Right foot now. Left foot now, y'all. Chop, chop, real smooth. Turn it out. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. One hop this time. One hop this time. Reverse. Reverse. Slide to the left. Slide to the right. Reverse, reverse. Reverse, reverse. Cha-cha now, y'all. Cha-cha again. Cha-cha now, y'all. Cha-cha again.